Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. It's that time again to continue on with my update 1.48 car reviews, this time going for the fourth of 5 new cars to come to the game. This is the Nissan Skyline GTS R R31, and to be totally honest, this one completely caught me by surprise. I knew it was going to be good, but I just didn't quite expect it to be this good all around. And whilst it is a bit finicky to get tuned correctly, once you do, this is a fantastic car. So let's get started with the price point. This is actually the second most expensive car from update 1.48, retailing for 176,600 credits. In terms of the stats, it's a case of fairly low stats, but actually they don't speak volumes for the overall way this car will drive straight out of the box. Displacement 1998cc, FR drivetrain, 207 brake horsepower. Of course, it's a road car weighing 1,340 kilograms and turbocharged. In terms of customization options, there is plenty available for this car as expected. In fact, there was already a lot more than I originally expected. You've got everything from wide bodies to wheels, different sizes, different widths, and all that good stuff, as well as a bunch of very cool and unique body kit options. As you can see, there is plenty on offer to make this car really feel like your own and build it anywhere from, base spec, street spec and race spec. You can pretty much do it all with this car. There's a fantastic bunch of options available to really suit any different taste and need that you may have. So in reality, no matter which way that you want to build this car up, you can pretty much do it all and customize it to your own personal taste. So let's move into the review portion of the car. We'll first review the stock version with a hot lap around the Nordschleife and see where it ranks on a hot lap leaderboard. Then we'll move on to the high speed ring with the car fully upgraded and see where it ranks over there. So in terms of the R31 GTS R, this is basically the final homologation special that we've really been waiting for. It's been around on the leaked car list for a fair while, not as long as some other vehicles, but it has been there for a little bit, so we did know this was coming at least some point down the line, and it's finally here. And I was very excited when I first made out the silhouette for this one, and it really doesn't disappoint. It's that kind of car that really does stand out as a very good car to have added to your game, but I just didn't expect it to be on this whole different level that this car really is. For me, it speaks volumes about a car when the stats don't really do the car justice. This thing really doesn't have a high PP rating, it doesn't really put out that much brake horsepower to today's standards, but I just feel like it is so dialed in straight out of the box that you can have a ton of fun no matter which way you want to go with it. If you want to throw it around a track in a time attack style, you can do that straight out of the box. If you want to go for a bit of a drift rocket, you can pretty much do that as well. Really is a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's absolutely fantastic. Again, whilst it's not putting out too much brake horsepower, why it's rather quite heavy overall straight out of the box, and of course it's a fairly old vehicle to today's standards, it really is a great car to throw around and just have a bunch of fun with, no matter which way you want to go for it. Now I'm assuming most people want to go down the route of fully upgrading it to a street spec or a race version, and yes, you can pretty much do that, but in all honesty, if you really want to enjoy this car straight out of the box and just keep it with that, factory feel and that whole look and, that really old, technology that's going on inside this car, you can go ahead and do it and have a great time. And I do recommend, when it comes to this vehicle, picking up a couple of them. Keep one standard for throwing around a track at the low PP rating events and have a lot more fun than a lot of other vehicles are providing game, and then get one that is fully upgraded for either drift, track or street spec. I really feel that that is definitely the way that you have to go with this car, that not just one single build of it will really satisfy it. It is so good at so many different things that you're doing yourself an injustice by not going down the route of absolutely everything this car has to offer. Now, of course, to today's standard, this is not one of the most sophisticated cars going anymore. Of course, it is impressive for the time, like most Japanese cars, where they're really pushing out the technology of what cars can look like in terms of styling and what they can really do. But obviously, to today's standard, it is fairly outdated. And in terms of the standard version, it is rather quite weighty. The tyre compound isn't that great. It sits on comfort softs. However, it does make for some rather quite fun sideways action. But in terms of the overall power as well, that is relatively low at 207 brake horsepower. However, combining all of these together, I really do feel like we have one of the best driver's cars in Gran Turismo 7, period, straight out of the box. This is a fantastic car to drive. In all honesty, I don't think you'll be disappointed, even if you're lacking the credits to get it fully upgraded and so on and so forth. So let's have a look where the car ends up on our lap time leaderboard as it crosses the line. This sits in the 500 pp category. Now, there is some rather quite stacked vehicles here. The current leader is the Subaru Impreza sedan WRX STI from 2004 with a fair lead and a great time of an 8-minute 5 seconds. Now, the Skyline GTSR is rather quite a way back from that, sitting in P7 with a lap time of an 8-minute 33.233, just a little bit back from the likes of the Dodge Charger 426 Hemi and the Mercedes-Benz 190e Evo 2 with a time of 8:26. So really, it's not going to break any records, but of course we are not done there. This to me is where this car becomes very, very special. As mentioned, it can do everything from drift, street and track, and of course for the fully upgraded version, I'm going to take it down the track-based route, where this car really feels like it becomes its own, and of course the track is where all Nissan Skylines belong, and really where they feel absolutely at home. And it's no different here for the R31 GTS-R. So in terms of this part of the video, we'll obviously talk about the fully upgraded versions as well as PP spec versions, so 600, 700, 800, so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to this car with upgrades, if you're aiming for a potential PP rating, I honestly recommend going down the 700 route. I got sent over a build by Kurt a few days ago, I believe, at this point, and honestly, it was absolutely fantastic. Whilst it is a little bit finicky to get set up properly, you'll notice the likes of wide body will really shove the tyres up in the arches and make it difficult to turn and so on and so forth. But once you nail those settings on this car, it becomes an absolute track monster. It really does feel at home on the racetrack. It's massively responsive. It's fairly quite decent on fuel from such an old vehicle, and it is of course very, very quick. This is no slouch at all when built to track spec, and in all honesty, it's a fantastic machine. Now, the one you're seeing here is of course fully upgraded, and I cannot go ahead and fine tune them for this video, and it does suffer on the high bankings from those wheels going up in the arches and just getting caught quite a bit. So just be aware of that if you're running high bank tracks, that you will need to get a proper tune set up for this. But once you do, it's absolutely incredible. In terms of the lap time for this one, it sits in the 700 pp category, along with another update 1.48 vehicle, that being the Honda Civic SIR. Now, of course, the one that's leading the way is the one with the B18 engine swap, and it does manage to just beat the standard fully upgraded version of the Honda Civic. It comes in with a time of a 1 minute 11.348 and sits P2 overall in this 700 category. Not too bad for a car with 685.20 pp and just slightly off that Honda Civic. So in conclusion, I would say the R31 GTSR is one of the better post-launch cars that we may have ever had. For me, it's the ultimate driver's car that can pretty much do everything from stock, street, race, drift. In all honesty, this car can cover everything, and that to me makes it a massive worthwhile investment. If you haven't already, pick up multiple of these, build them to your liking, and honestly, you'll probably find yourself having a ton of fun with this one. Let me know what you think of the R31 GTSR down below. Take care, guys. Peace.